All right, now let's just remember we are going towards the direction of the interracial agenda also, just being marketed and promoted and advertised. I want to hit you with some more Kamala here so we kind of hit the ball home. This is kind of for my man, Big J, who, brother, we can give you all the information you need to let you know that this was not the woman we needed even in the damn race. And at the very end of this clip, I'm going to show you about someone that was in the background that was never even mentioned by mainstream. And a lot of people didn't even know he was running for the presidency. So it kind of shows you how the powers that be were putting this woman, I use that loosely, you just saw the last clip of the goddamn neck, how they forced this person to the forefront of the race. She wasn't even really selected by the Democratic Party. They didn't even really want her. Biden didn't like the fact that she was forced above other people to be the forerunner. She was the first to lose years ago when she campaigned against Tulsi Gabbard. She pretty much got wiped. She was the first to be kicked out, eliminated. But this is going back to when she was a prosecutor. So this is back 2016 when she was a prosecutor in California. And then it kind of goes, some of the things are going to go further back. When she was enforcing Joe Biden's crime bill that incarcerated literally thousands and thousands of first-time offenders, not criminals with criminal records, but first-time offenders for minor charges. She was pushing the book, throwing the book at all of them. She was pushing for the most harshest sentences. You know, and a lot of people say it's left up to the judges, but she was also doing favors for the judge. Everybody knows that that's how she kind of got her career going, which is interesting to me. It's like a lot of women were supporting Kamala, not comprehending or understanding clearly how she got to where she got to be. Maybe some of the women did know. And maybe there's an element of that in society and in our communities that they just don't give a damn. It's just get there by any means possible. Because she got there from doing judges favors. Willie Brown in San Francisco, the politician Willie Brown years ago even stated the same thing. Montel Jordan is the one who, Montel Williams, the talk show host, is the one who introduced Kamala Harris to the public and a few other politicians and kind of got her headed in the right direction. Her nickname was Heels Up Harris. Heels Up Harris was her nickname. So let me proceed on with exposing more of the 2024-2025 election and how so-called black people, black is not a nationality. Lots was exposed to you. They were kind of showing you that there's some situations that we have concerning nationality, number one, and the other is identity politics. And how identity politics is the problem in the black community. This was being exposed to the community by elites. And you pretty much fell for it. So if you're looking for things to change in the world, as long as you have this identity politics shit trapped in your head, colors of people trapped in your head, and not nationality, you're going to get fucked every time. This is what was exposed. Are you really ready to go into the next dimension of things? Are you really ready for more information? Are you really ready to start to see clearly? Because some of you motherfuckers are under a serious spell with this one. Still thinking she should have been in there. We should have supported her. She should have won. She locked niggas up and tried to throw away the goddamn key under Joe Biden's crime bill. First-time offenders. Men and women trying to take care of their children. Let's proceed.
For Black Lives If Black Lives Matter to her, why didn't I matter?
Because of truancy, California public schools lose $1.4 billion a year in funding.
I want money.
I don't agree what Kamala Harris did to my mom.
So I decided I was going to start prosecuting parents for truancy.
And I spent a majority of my time here at the hospital.
When Kamala Harris was the California Attorney General, she had me arrested and prosecuted because my handicapped daughter was sick in the hospital and had missed some days of school.
I have sickle cell anemia. Sickle cell anemia is a hereditary disease, and it is very, very painful.
There's a witch's laugh.
In 2012, like all California parents, I received a threatening letter from Kamala Harris saying we'll go to jail for a year if our kids even miss 10% of school days. Little did I know, there was a warrant out for my arrest. All of a sudden, the police is outside my house, and they started banging on the door. They told me I was under arrest for my child missing school. I was shocked. I said, but my baby is sick. The school knows that. And they said, go talk to Kamala Harris. Place your hands behind your back.
My mom did nothing wrong. We did everything we were supposed to. I was always bringing doctor's notes, always calling the school to let them know that I was in the hospital.
But my hell was just beginning. They gave me 2 charges. I spent the next 2 years in court fighting these charges. Kamala assigned her nastiest prosecutors to my case.
My homicide prosecutors, my gang prosecutors.
You hear that?
And they went over there and I said, when you go over there, look really mean.
That's the witch's laugh.
Time I had to spend going to court, I was struggling to care for my children.
We are going to make sure that you face the full force and consequences of the law.
I lost my job and couldn't pay rent, and we got evicted. I became homeless. We had to move into a motel.
And I ended up being in the hospital a lot during her trial. And in that hospital stay was when I had my stroke.
I had a stroke about 4 or 5 days ago. And right now I'm doing pretty good. My hand is doing okay, I guess.
Let's be clear, my values have not changed.
Look, I am not a political person, but I want people to know what Kamala Harris has did to me. If she do it to me, she will abuse anyone if you give her the power.
The truancy program got a lot of criticism too. Did you actually lock anybody up?
No, we never locked anybody up. We did prosecute some cases, but far few, only about 20.
My message to all Americans, especially Black Americans, do not trust Kamala Harris.
All right. We're going to show you something because there was a lot of information out there that was saying she wasn't responsible for a lot of men going to jail. That can go either way when you're responsible for a lot of people being detained and arrested who are first-time offenders, and you're pushing for sentences even though they beat them. You're still forcing people into the criminal justice system who probably would not have been there. So I want you all to understand that. Because there's some people saying, well, if you take a look at the numbers, a lot of them didn't go to jail, but they was fucking arrested. And they had to go stand trial and do all the things you got to do when you get arrested. First-time offenders. So I want to show you another case here. I showed you one. I could probably show you another 15 or 20 that's just as worse as this. On your girl Kamala Harris, Imhoff Harris.
Last 4 days. You're going to find out if you're going to jail for the rest of your life. By the way, for something you did not do. Kamala Harris is district attorney in California at that time, the first Black district attorney. Take it from there. Take me through what happened.
Well, on that day of conviction, I kind of already knew I was convicted before it even came out because the jury asked a question, what's the difference between first-degree murder and second-degree murder? So just at the time, in my mind, it was like, you know, how can this happen? How can this be? And what will be the timeline of me potentially, you know, getting back off of this, which is a 99% chance that I don't get back off of this life sentence. So it was eerie, and it was very it was emotional. You know, one can imagine.
Now, I want to say something to you all that talking about the numbers that she arrested as opposed to the numbers of people who actually did time. He was arrested for and did a little bit of jail time, but now he's being in a situation to where he's going to be forced to go back and spend the rest of his life in jail. Now, do you think that this is a good or a bad situation to be in? When she pushed hard, and some police officers were even caught fabricating some evidence. She probably gave some blowjobs or put her heels up, whatever the case may be. Because, you know, they get the other part of this is y'all don't understand is they get kickbacks from convictions. They access your estates, your trust that you've had set up since you were small. That's another video. This is how some of them become so wealthy. What if he beat this case, though, but he still had to go through a whole bunch of drama, heartbreak, spending money, because she was pushing to increase her numbers to push her career forward against innocent people. Innocent people.
That Kamala had a look on her face. She was laughing, smiling. Yeah. Which to me, by the way, which is just very bizarre.
That's a witch.
Yes, 100%. So when I did come into the courtroom and sit down, and when you had this whole side on the prosecution side fully packed with all types of attorneys and other people or whatnot, and on my side it was pretty empty. And Kamala Harris sat front row for when the sentencing came down, and you know when I looked back just to see who was there in general, and you see her front row, kind of in this celebration
Look at that jaw.
laughing. We locked eyes one time.
Don't think that's a woman, people.
Like, she was laughing at me. That's how I felt. But the laugh was similar to what you see her laugh now, right? Yeah. After any celebration or any, discomfort of any sort, she just laughs.
She just laughs because there's a thing that people do when they're in the occult, especially when they're trying to conceal or hide something. The thing to do is to laugh. Sometimes it's uncontrollably. It's a witch's heckle. And when we get into the depths of what's really going on here, you're going to see that you had a fucking witch that they were trying to put in the goddamn White House and mask it up as a black woman, a woman of color, probably not even a fucking woman. I don't even know how y'all missed all of this shit, man.
And, now I didn't know that at the time that was kind of like her thing.
Her thing?
But, I took it personal. That, this lady that is, head district attorney of San Francisco. That,
head district attorney.
Presumptually black, right, is laughing at me.
Why was she even in the courtroom? Was your case that public here in the Bay Area that she felt the need to be there in the front row on the day that the jury read the verdict?
Yeah, I had a very publicized case because I was previously on a reality show called I Love New York, and it's a murder case. I mean, San Francisco's only 7 by 7. There's not too many murders that's happening, and you have to know that having that on your record, a conviction record of convicting murderers, right, was something that she was running on. And you got to think about, she was running for Attorney General at the time. Right. So
what did he just tell y'all? What did he just tell you about having those convictions? You come back later on and beat it, and they find out you innocent. Oh, well, he ended up getting out. Sometimes they scrub those numbers, by the way, just to let y'all know that. Running for office.
For her, at any time she could, celebrate her doing her job or whatnot, then, she made it a point to show up and make a comment after as well.
You going to vote for Kamala Harris in November?
No, absolutely not. I'm voting Trump this year.
Do you feel like
Donald Trump's first term, he had a bill, and this is to my dear brothers who just refuse. Why ain't y'all listening to nothing? You don't have to like anybody. You don't have to like either one. I didn't vote for him. I didn't vote for her. The point of the matter is to kind of expose the spell that you're under. This one was the one who signed a bill to release nonviolent criminals and did it and reduced the sentences of nonviolent criminals under her president's crime bill years ago called the Biden crime bill, which was solely specifically targeted at minorities in the inner city. That's what they was about. He was the one that signed the bill to start letting them out and reduce the sentences, which my nephew got out early, years early, under him and numerous others. There was one brother online, I think he was keeping track. I think it was about 5,500 people, blacks and Hispanic men and women that were released under had sentences reduced under him. And they were the ones who signed the crime bill. And you wanted that. You wanted that. We had that one before. The economy was pretty fucking good. We had this one before. As vice president, the economy was horrible. And it kept getting worse every year. But you wanted that over that because of what? Complexion?
there are a lot of people in the African American community and the black community that feel the same way about Kamala versus Trump now?
Yes, 100%. I mean,
now, Trump's first term, he got a very large percentage of the black vote. Niggas just didn't say nothing. Do you really think that people who knew anything about Hillary Clinton and her death count, the body count of the Clintons, I think they had over 120 something people directly connected to them that were murdered or suicided. Do you think brothers was voting for Hillary in 2016? You really think they was voting for Hillary in 2016? Or were they voting for Trump, the man that had been around, been in Hollywood, everybody knew him, helping boxers, BET after award parties, after parties at the boxing matches, billionaire philanthropist playboy, appearing in pictures with Wu-Tang and everybody you can name. You really think they was voting for Hillary over him? Y'all got tricked. And you got tricked again in 2024. 80% of black men voted for Kamala Harris. Bullshit. The numbers are always bullshit after the election. Nobody is standing outside of the polls with a pen and a piece of paper, keeping track and asking you, who did you vote for? And what's your nationality? And what do you identify as? Nobody does that. The poll numbers are always based on their previous rallies. They look at the attendance and they get an idea of who's attending, male, female, black, Hispanic, Asian, whatever it is. That's how they do that. They're estimates. They are estimates. 80% of black men did not vote for that. Black's not a nationality. They didn't vote for that. It's BS.
What I get from my community, the black community, and I'm not talking about the super, left-wing media black community. I'm talking about people.
The super left-wing. He dropping bombs on you niggas' heads. The super left-wing. Super left-wing. Why don't you throw Marxists and socialists and communists in that shit too? And LGBTQ, PRS, LMNOP. And you wonder why there can't be any progress made. I gave you the definition of nationality. I showed you black is not one. According to law. These people deal with law most of the time. Sometimes legalese, but a lot of times they dealing with law. Left-leaning black community is fucking horrible.
Every day, people that I see and talk to in rural areas and so forth, that says, the only thing that Kamala's ever did for black people was lock black people up. And that played a big part to our culture.
Jamal True Love. Jamal True Love. True Love. True Love. He's dropping some knowledge on all of y'all, man. This is some interviews that they hear from y'all a while ago during the campaigns. Your left-wing leaning media. And your rolling bisexual ass Martins, whatever his last name is. Roland Martin, whatever his name is, got caught watching gay porn. And y'all think they're for you.
Is known for black people going to jail, coming home, rapping about it, and being celebrated, about it as well. But from what I get from the people that I talk to, that they're not voting for Kamala Harris, and they're not voting for Kamala Harris just because she's black, neither. They're voting for Trump. They don't want to vocalize it in public too much because you get demonized, which in a lot of aspects, I'm being demonized right now. Right.
Why is it that you get demonized because you don't agree with the norm? Only in what's called the black culture, black is not a nationality, do they demonize each other. Remember when I read what a nationality is? It has to do with character. It has to do with allegiance. There's no allegiance. There can be no allegiance under black. It's going to be chaos and confusion and division. Period. This previous election just showed y'all that. And the community, in some senses, is still divided. I didn't even fucking vote. And people get on, they criticize me for saying certain things. They call me a sellout, or Uncle Tom, conspiracy theory, whatever. They just call me all kind of names. I didn't even vote. But I know one thing. Kamala Imhoff Harris wasn't the fucking choice. Anybody with any sense that knew anything about the history of her, or even a little bit of law, a little bit of economic stuff, you would have known, hell no. Remember, I'm going to show you something at the end of this clip.
Because I'm going against, the status quo of the black vote, which in the past two elections, I believe it was like 90% of black people, voted, Democratic, which I think is just,
impossible.
So far beyond, how we really feel on a day-to-day, having conversations about politics, not as a politician, but just from information that we take in.
How long did you spend in jail, Jamal?
I spent 6.5 years in prison.
You'll never get that time back.
I'll never get it back.
Tell me about that.
Well, living in prison is a whole different type of lifestyle that you have to live, right? That you can almost never reflect on once you're free. So it's 6.5 years of not growing, in this world in general. And it also puts a magnifying glass on the life that I was living for the first 23 years, that I can't live that way. And now I was forced to live in prison for 6.5 years, and I can't live that way. And
now, don't you think there should be some kind of suit? He's not the only one. There's several other cases of people who were put away that was found to be innocent. And these stories are being buried from you. But I think that's enough of Brother Jamal True Love for you right now. I hope my dear brothers got the point of You may not have known about that. Let's deal with some things here real quick. Here's something I get a kick out of. This is made Kamala Indian again. I think y'all need to go grab some of those red hats. Some of you out there that are talking about the black woman and she's so for the black community and her black heritage, and they called her a person of color, a woman of color in one of the videos, and her Indian heritage. But yeah, let's make Kamala Indian again. I like that one. Show you some other ones here. This is a image I wanted to show you all of Cornel West. So this is how the elections went. They took an East Indian woman, said she was black, put her as the forerunner, who made a living and a career off prosecuting first-time offenders, black men and women. Acknowledged her Indian heritage. She's married to a white Jewish man with adopted Jewish children. And so-called black women wanted black men to vote for her because she's a woman of color. Not even black. Black's not a nationality, by the way. But then you had Cornel West, a heterosexual black man, who's always identified as a black man. As far as I got a couple of his books. I don't agree with everything Cornel says, by any stretch. But you had him running for president. That you, sororities and fraternities and black organizations, you never said one damn word about it. You never said one word about Cornel West. And those of you who really are black, blackity, black, this is the person you should have voted for. Black's not a nationality, by the way. But this is the person you should have voted for. If you're going to be about that. What they were doing is they were showing you there's a brother in the background downplaying him, putting him to the side. This is all a game to see if you as a community would recognize him in the back and reach out to him as a heterosexual male who's about procreation. He's about his people. Of course, he's got some other little ideologies that are from Europe, but at least he's about his people, so to speak. But you selected an East Indian woman that recently identified as black, that is for LGBTQ pre-RS. I'm not saying he's not, but he's basically more for heterosexual reproduction too, though. But you selected a woman that's basically for the opposite. Don't even know if it's a woman, looking at that neck. And Kamala Imhoff is married to a white Jewish man with Jewish children. He's not. Do y'all see the switch? And this is why it's going to get into what's called the interracial agenda, which is now degrading people that look like him and promoting the sisters that are with the white boys. And it's being marketed and advertised and promoted for purposes of accessing the mitochondria of the original woman. They pushed him to the back. You pushed him to the back. And you put a fraud in front of him with a Jewish white guy. Nobody in her family anywhere that I've seen is... Yeah, there he is. Cornel West. Everybody want to talk about, and you want to talk about the symbols and everything. Of course, you know, he's got symbol in his hand. Could be the tip of the spear, which means he could be a part of something that was set up to occur. And he's in all black. Don't he look like a villain out of your favorite comic book? He just looks like a villain out of your comic book. But that's the brother Cornel West. Some people didn't even know he was running for president. And they was telling me about Kamala Harris. We still should have voted for Kamala. Are you out of your damn mind? So let me ask y'all a question. Is this something that the sisters in the community would have supported? What's the brother's name? Byron Daniels, I believe. Internet debate. Will black women support a candidate like this as much as they supported Kamala? Byron Daniels, I believe his name. He was on the Breakfast Club, and they had the nerve to ask him if his wife was white. He said, yeah. What he should have said was Kamala's husband is white too. Okay? This isn't being promoted as much today as the Harris family union is being promoted. We're going to get into that next and show you exactly what it's about. That you're missing this part of the agenda too. Let's go into this again, show you a few more. Black Lives Matter. What's above the Black Lives Matter flag? There is a rainbow, people, again. This one is not up here. This one is on top. This is on bottom. Anybody can claim this. Anybody is claiming this. It's not a nationality. Anybody can be that. It's not a nationality. They put this one on top. Wanted to show y'all that. Till y'all get it. Because you're not getting it. There is the black family. The woman who was for the black community and all the sororities, and we need to support women of color. She kind of blends in right there, huh? If you'd have never known who she was, you just think, oh, maybe she's got a little bit of Mexican in her or something, right? Mm-hmm. And by the way, these two are adopted. They're adopted. This can't have children. Can't have children. Y'all don't want to get into that one. Can't have children. Yep, y'all don't want to deal with that. This is an artist that performed at the DNC National Convention. I've shown this picture to an associate that's, with the rainbow people, and right away he said that this is a boy that's tucking. Yeah. This is a boy that's tucking. And all you got to do is look at the chin, look at the big ass head, listen to the voice, watch the way it moves. It's like a fucking boy. Here we go again. That's your girl. Then or whatever. I just don't never see her with no flavor though. You know what I'm saying? Maybe in college. Yep, everybody wants to talk about the Elon salute. Elon's a Nazi. He did the Nazi salute. Yeah, so did she. Nobody said nothing about that one, but y'all said something about that one. You didn't say nothing about that one, but you said something about that one. And Elon did it as a gesture to piss off the bankers because there was some things going on with Tesla. Y'all know the bankers are Jewish, so that was a shot towards the Jewish bankers. And y'all supposed to not like the Zionists, so to speak. Here we go. Congratulations to all the women who vote Democrat. Zero House Democrats voted to pass the Protection of Women and Girls in Sports. Republicans, 219. Democrats, 0. Democrats want to keep boys in sports, transgenders in sports. This is to the black people. Black's not a nationality. People voted for Biden versus Trump. Remember this one? 1994 crime bill fed the mass incarceration crisis. Trump's First Step Act ending mass incarceration in federal prisons. Releasing people. He's the idiot. He's the orange man. He's the fool. And this is the one y'all voted for. I ain't vote for either one of them. I'm sitting back watching from a distance on how deceived you motherfuckers are. Black people say you hate your own if you didn't vote for her. If you didn't vote for her, you hate your own. But this was her choices. This is our VP, Tampon Tim, who wanted to put tampons in the boys' bathrooms. Tampons in the boys' bathrooms. Tampons in the boys' bathrooms. And this is her husband. Wow. Wow, wow, wow.